Hello, universe. Um, I am currently breaking my cardinal rule I've never broken, but I am a little bit of a rule breaker, and I'm breaking this one because the rule I'm breaking is I always try to listen to the last recording to give continuity to the next recording, so that I don't just have 98 bottles of beer on the wall, 98 bottles of beer, take this one down, it doesn't make a sound. None of this makes sense to anyone but the guy in the pound. And I am circuitous by nature. I am discombobulated in my mind, and I am completely capable of starting a thought, getting halfway to it, and then forgetting I was even talking about that. If you haven't suffered that frustration at some point, you have not listened. And except maybe these 60 seconds right here, I don't know that I didn't do that, but I hope I didn't. So I don't consider the fact that I'm even recording for the third time today. Is it three now, Phoebe, or two? What I should be doing is looking for a job, and I know it. And I know it. I'm a little stressing because I'm not doing it, because I don't have any money. So soon it will be, well, what are we going to eat tonight? Grass or leaves? And there's not a whole lot of grass growing in the yard, so I'll probably be stealing that grass. But, yeah, so yeah, I got to go find a job. I mean, it's not like they're going to give me $50 the day I apply and say, thanks for applying, here's $50, go get some food. I get that. So even hitting the record button here is indulgent beyond the pale if my mother were looking at me, and my father at this point probably. Even my sister, justifiably knowing what kind of shenanigans I'm capable of, would say, please go look for a job while you still at least have a resource to buy milk. Okay, I hear you. So I go. I will, because it's a 78 or 9 or whatever degree day, I haven't had to shut the door yet. It is gorgeous. I will go walk somewhere and apply. But for the most part, wherever I go apply, I'm going to get hired. If I apply at the stupid places that I tend to work, like, and I don't mean to call you stupid Home Depot, I actually really liked working there. Yes, I liked my job at Home Depot. That's, if I had to list my jobs in the order I liked them, Baskin-Robbins in high school, oh, no, paper route, for sure. Baskin-Robbins in high school, Home Depot. And that's not a very impressive resume, but it does get me hired at Walmart. And, but if I go work at Walmart, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk out of there one night and say, you guys fucking suck. Because it does. Working at Walmart sucks. And I'm just a little too big a fan of myself to put up with it. So then, where do I go? Swallow myself up and say, I know it sucks, but I have to eat. Well, I hope you can at least appreciate that that's a world that's hard to walk out of, or walk into. Walk out of my house and into. In my house, I feel like I don't have to think like that. I don't have to be subjective to the stupidest rules and regulations of corporate America. But once I leave, I do. And I play by your game. That's why I don't cause a stir even when I'm wronged. Because I expect to get wronged, because I know karmically it's all wrong for me too. But I gotta eat. So I gotta work. And so I also am running out of episodes for my second album, as it were. And I really thought that I could use 53 recording sessions to go through the major moments of my youth. It doesn't turn out that I could cover them all there, because I've left a few gems still sitting in the treasure box. And one thing I always thought, if I had to give myself one way to feel successful, I could always say, well, I don't know too many better storytellers than me. And I do mean that all the way down to the fantasy of creating a life that didn't even really exist. I am a fantastical, imaginative mind. And I love that. But other than turning myself into whoever that dude is that wrote the Game of Thrones stuff, even he had to eventually admit he'd wound a web too sticky to get out of. Well, Mr. whatever, I can't think of his name. I have his books too. That's okay. I quit on Game of Thrones myself because at some point I realized it was a little too much like my own life. This narrative he had woven that was ultimately too ridiculous to believe. But the first part's wow, right? Did you ever feel more connected to storytelling than that? It's awesome. And that's what's so magical about The Wire. They managed to develop every single character in the narrative. And they did it right. Pretty awesome. Not many have achieved that. Deadwood, you had it going and then couldn't sustain it. And Breaking Bad, you should have quit after season 4 and then managed a season 5. So I'm impressed. But then most of our stories, Lost, etc. Well, that's the perfect one. It seems like we always have these great starts and we always have these things going right. We always have all this stuff that's working out. But ultimately, it's just wrong. And when you list Paperboy as the best job you ever had, well, there must be a whole lot of other stuff that's keeping internet marketing consultant off the list. Don't sneer at me, Phoebe. That's not fair. I hated that job. But I hated it because what did it mean I was doing? Well, I was taking people who couldn't somehow express an idea in a way that it was being received in the scale and amplitude of reception they had hoped. So they wanted to know if I had tricks and switches to flip that would let more people say, I like what this guy's doing, I need more of it. No, I don't have tips and tricks for that. You know why? Because your product sucks. So if I put it in front of 50 more people, 5 people might actually buy it. Yep. When your product sucks, work on the product. Well, that's kind of my, that would not be the worst gravestone epitaph for me. If your product sucks, work on your product. Not on getting people to change their minds that this is actually a product they like. We don't deserve that. And I didn't deserve to try to show those who, in my past, I expected needed nothing but the perfect version of me, that wasn't available. That this version, this A-, B+, gonna always think that I should have done better guy. Well, if he could get some confidence, he might be worth hanging out with, but if he goes the other way and starts trying to impress you in ways that he knows he's not capable of, you're going to ultimately, just like him, feel a little worse about the whole thing. So, rather than shine you on, I'd rather give you all the lumps, the bumps, the embarrassments. I got nothing to hide. I mean, I'm happy I'm just not losing my shit right now. And I'll bet that statement, well, the happy part, I don't know that y'all can say. Because I don't see a whole lot of people I bounce into out there right now that I think, hey, you're at least happy. I can think of 2. And hello, chicken in a jar lady. You are so far the best incidental encounter of my year. But I had like 30 of those, and we're only in March. Because the more I get out in the universe and the more I allow myself not to care if I have a moment that doesn't go perfectly, the more I'm meeting people I like. And I like most of you. The ones of you I don't like, it's probably my fault. But I'm working on it because I love you all. And I think I always have. I think that's one of the reasons I was always a cheater. Well, that and I was broken, but I do love you all. And I even love myself these days. And that's a huge difference. Because once I love you, then whatever mistakes you make can't take that away. I didn't know that. I always thought one mistake, just one more mistake. If I could just keep away from making that one more mistake, well, then I could never, ever lose that which was always precariously threatening to go away. And I took myself out of the equation as much as I could. And for whatever reason, I have to stop thinking I'm the problem and go out and help other people realize that if they're thinking that, well, that's really the only problem any of us can truly have.